This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by All-Star Vacation Homes. And if you've got a plan to come to Walt Disney World soon, you're thinking, you know what, I would love to be able to stay somewhere and have a lot of space, but I don't want to pay a lot for it. Well, All-Star Vacation Homes is the perfect option for you. They've got so many great amenities in each of their All-Star Vacation Homes, such as private pool, full-size kitchen, game room, movie room, themed rooms for the kids. Check them out online. Go to www.allstarvacationhomes.com right now.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, February 4th, 2011, and this is episode 834 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hotchberg of StudiosCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, the Super Bowl is coming up. Who you got? Like, I even have to ask.
I like the Steelers' chances. Green Bay's a great team, but I got to go with the Pittsburgh.
Score
Shocked.
prediction. I know, shocked. You get close, or
every time somebody asks me for a prediction, I always quote Clubber Lang. My prediction: pain. You know, and I always start that by saying, I never quote Clubber Lang. No, that's not really true. I quote him all the time.
Mr. T's underrated role, really.
You look at his dialogue in that. Every line was a gem.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for alleears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Hit him with the soup bone.
Hit him with the soup bone. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Hit him with the soup bone. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, Kitchen Cabaret?
Nope.
I got nothing.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Where's that?
What scene is that?
Well, you're going to have to take a trip and see.
Oh, on the Caribbean? It's scary, man. There's a lot of fighting going on.
And fire and all that stuff. Yeah.
Also joining us on today's show is Laura Spencer, the social media manager at Walt Disney World Resort and one of the original panelists on the Disney Moms panel. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Hi, guys.
And it's a great pleasure to have you on, Laura, because we knew you before you joined the ranks of Disney and the Moms panel. And
before you became the man.
If I'm the man, I'm a cross-dresser.
It's capital T, capital M, man,
And we wanted to bring Laura on because her involvement with the Moms panel goes way back to the beginning of the Moms panel, and she's been a founding mom since 2008. And, Laura, let's start here. I wanted to ask you, how has the Disney Moms panel changed your life? Because I wanted you to kind of convey, we know a little bit, but I think many of our listeners don't quite understand what ramifications the Disney Moms panel has had on you, because it's been not just an amazing opportunity for you, it's given you other opportunities, and it might be interesting to kind of look into that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, for the people that don't know, it truly is the Cinderella story for me. Like you said, I knew you guys before I was on the Moms panel, before, I worked for Disney, because I just love Disney. So I just always wanted to be surrounded by people who were talking about Disney theme parks. So I was like stalking Matt and you and Mike. And in my head, we were best friends, and we went out to lunch and we went shopping. And I just, well, okay, it's my head. It's not your head. Yes, you go shopping for shoes with me.
Of course.
Of course.
So, yes, I've created that little, life in my head. And so the blogosphere now, you can really develop friendships and relationships and get great information, on the web. And then, of course, you guys, you've been around the block for a while. So, from back in the day in the 80s and 90s at the beginning of the Internet, I was in all the groups and everything about Disney. And then, fast forward, 10, 12 years, we are where we are. So I think purely, and also being a woman of a certain age, I decided, that I really only want to spend time on things or with people that I care about. I think life is too short to be bogged down with, foolishness and crazy people, and just, concentrate on family and fun and educating myself and really kind of getting the most out of life. So I pretty much, it's my family, I'm a runner, I love Disney, I love shopping for shoes, and that was it. So it makes me sound really, really shallow.
Nothing that we've been accused of that before.
Right. But, I think a lot of people are doing that now, simplifying their lives. So
Being shallow. a lot of people are shallow these days. Look at the audience of Jersey Shore. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
So what would happen was I would spend my time kind of on the web, and I still am working on a book, and just researching Disney, and I literally came across the press release talking about the Moms Panel the day it came out, and it just I read it, and I was like, this is me, I had the thought, like, if I don't make it to this, then I'm like, horrible. Like I'm like, all my life is a lie.
No pressure or anything.
So I applied, of course, and I didn't tell anybody. And then I made it to the. Actually, no. The weird thing is, I didn't make it to the second round. I did the second round application, and I got a thanks but no thanks email. So I thought that was it. So I was just going to kind of put my tail between my legs and try again. But unlike all the other panelists, I guess they had made a mistake. And now that I'm on the other side of the fence, I can see how easy that is. So they accidentally sent me the email that said that I wasn't going on to the next level. And literally, Leanne, who is now my boss, and Duncan, as you guys know, the whole team called me at work, and I had no warning.
Really?
And so I had to just do the phone interview like I had no warning at all. So
it's like Publishers Clearinghouse interviewing you before they give you the check.
Right. So that was the funny thing, and Leanne will she tells everybody to this day that I was the very first person to send my second application in for the second round.
Really?
I was serious. So
Nice.
So when I got the Cinderella call that I had made it to the panel, I said that day, and I was watching Oprah, I said that day that was my aha moment, and they don't know it yet, but they're going to hire me.
Wow. Glenn?
So you got hired, right? And you go through training. What kind of training did they give you for the moms? Did they walk you through?
Yeah, I think we were really. I think the first group. It was really cool because we were such an experiment. They just kind of decided, well, they know everything about Disney, so we'll show them some behind the scenes things. You remember that's Year of a Million Dreams, so the Cinderella Castle was brand new. The Castle Suite was brand new, so we got to go up there, and and so they were really just kind of experimenting with us, and like the intranet that the panelists work on, they were literally building it while we were working on the panel. So we were finding bugs, and we were having our conference calls would last 3 hours because we were like, oh, the spell check doesn't work, and all these
yeah.
Yeah. So all these nuts and bolts things. The 2008 panel really, not only were they the first, but they really kind of set the tone about the structure of the panel and how the intranet worked for future panels, because there were things that we said would make life easier for us, and Disney was really receptive, and if they could change it or alter it or fix it, they did. And it was really it was a give and take. It was I was shocked that a company of this magnitude was listening to 12 basically nobodies and really investing in our opinions. I was just overly impressed with it. And back then, I don't think anybody was using the word social media. I just, as a PR professional, I knew that for a company to have people give their opinions without censorship is a big deal. And I remember asking, I said, now, I don't like the food at Crystal Palace. Is it okay if I say that? And they were like, yep.
Yep. And then there's some muttering in the background going, she leaves the parking lot at 9 p.m.
It's my favorite line ever. It's like, yeah, you know what? Don't bother coming in on Friday. Don't bother coming in on Monday either. And then you'll respond, woohoo, 4-day weekend.
So that it just it was I think a really fun experiment for the company, and then it's the cliche and the rest was history, because I think they thought it was just going to be this little PR stunt, and it really was a precursor to so much going on in the world today of really involving consumers in a conversation as opposed to companies just talking to consumers and telling them what they need to buy and telling them where to go buy it and telling them when it's on sale. It's a different world now.
I thought, when I heard the thing, I thought, cynically, oh my God, this is a way for Disney to look like they're including their key demographic, right? Because I'm sure your statistics are the same as the unofficial guide statistics. Women are 2/3 of your audience and do most of the planning for the trips, right?
Why do you think we do this podcast, Len?
Exactly. That's why we have Mike on to appeal to the women demographic. But the sheer volume of questions that you guys answer on every conceivable subject, I think, is really amazing. The latitude that you guys got too to answer the questions. Sometimes it doesn't toe the company line. How
no, it does, and I think that's the cool part because
I think so too. It's surprising. Good.
It's almost like people see us as a third party, and that's amazing to me because, I really feel that, and this is just my personal opinion, even before I was with Disney, I really feel that transparency, I know that word gets overused, but I really feel that people want to feel like you're telling them the truth, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, and they want the best for their families. And I love that, Disney decided to listen to moms and dads and basically listen to the consumer regardless of who that person is and say, you know what, you guys tell a way better story. I mean, I would listen to you guys every single week because you guys had such rich information. And I think it's amazing that even with your website and other websites, I think that Disney's really saying, these people, they love the brand. They want to talk about the brand. If they want to go and research the square footage of every room in the Polynesian, God bless them. We're going to help them do that. And that is I think a paramount shift in many companies today, that they're actually working with people that they might have seen as competitors in the PR field, or nobody wants to see anything negative on their website, and they'll delete a lot. And I think that's changing in general.
Last year, I had an opportunity to meet and talk with Tom Smith, who does the Disney Parks blog, and I was going to ask you, in your role as social media director, Walt Disney World, do you interact with Thomas at all in the Disney Parks blog? How does that work? Yeah,
how I got the job was the year of the first panel. I was harassing them for a job, and they kept saying, there is no job, stop calling us. And around, I think it was July, because I think it was around my birthday, they called me and said they were starting this new department called social media, and I was like, what's that? And so they explained it, and I really didn't get it at all. I didn't have a Twitter address. I didn't know what Facebook was, but I knew that I had over 20 years experience in PR, and I feel that PR is PR, whether it's year 2011 and we're using Twitter, and whether it was 50 years ago and we were using the newspaper, it's all the same stuff. And so I went to the interview and I said, I can figure this out. I don't know what it is, but I can do it. And so we're just basically a very small team of about 4 people, and we work very closely together because so many of our messages have to go across all of our platforms. So Mom's Panel, the blog, Facebook, Twitter. So we're basically building stories and we're reaching people where they go. There are certain people that won't go to the Disney Parks blog, so we put things on Facebook. There are certain people that won't go on Facebook. We use Twitter. So next year there'll be some geek in California will invent something new, and we'll use that. So we work very, very well together, kind of, and experimenting. This is all new territory.
Let me ask you this, Laura. You accomplished, I think, 2 dreams for many Disney fans who might listen, of which they might listen to the show. One is you moved from Massachusetts to Florida, specifically Orlando, and 2, you got a job at Disney. Take us a little bit through that and that kind of process, because was that something you always wanted to do, or was this just a series of things that you joined the Moms panels, like, gee, wouldn't it be cool, and like things just kind of fell in place? Or take us through that process of not only just moving from one area of the country to near Walt Disney World, but you also lived another dream in working for Disney and being one of the magic makers.
Yeah, I mean, our family situation was that I'm a New England girl, and I was born in Connecticut, and then I was raised in Massachusetts, and so I love the Sox and lobster and the Patriots, but I know, but I've got Tom Brady. If they have a cute guy, I like the team. But I've never felt comfortable in New England. I don't know if it's cultural, but I'm not a fan of the cold. I love to ski, but I don't want to do it every day. And I always felt like a Southerner at heart. I always felt like, I'm, like a character in Steel Magnolia. Like I want to wear big hats.
Oh, not the one that gets cancer and dies, right?
No.
God, Len.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
But I mean, I just love that kind of genteel and lifestyle, and I like being outside. So our family always said that we really were going to plan to move down south. One day, it was a pipe dream, and one day, I'll never forget it because you guys are probably experiencing this if you're up north now. We were having an unbelievable blizzard in Massachusetts, and so we were snow blowing for it was at least 4 hours, and I said to my husband, we have to buy a piece of property down south, or I'm going to commit suicide. Seriously. And so,
not for nothing.
And so we did. We bought an acre of land in North Carolina just so I could imagine.
Did you really?
Yes, we still own it.
Where in North Carolina?
Right outside Raleigh.
That's
so.
funny.
Yeah, and then I got married in Williamsburg, Virginia, because I didn't want my memories of my wedding to be in New England. I mean, I was like focused on not being in New England. So
wow.
It's kind of interesting that, my heart and brain was telling me I needed to be south, and then, yeah, it was a pipe dream. And I remember saying, I'd love to work for Disney, but it's like Microsoft. I'm like, I'm not smart enough or pretty enough to get a job there. You know what I mean? Like there's this mystique about Disney.
Yeah.
And so, I had always kind of thought that. So I just, back to simplifying my life, I said, I'm just going to pay attention to stuff I like to do, and it'll all work out.
So you were on the Disney Moms, and you still are on the Disney Moms panel. And then you had a great job being social media manager at Walt Disney World Resort. Let me ask you this. Being on the Moms panel now, you've been there it's about 3 years now, right? Because the class of 2011 has been inaugurated.
Yes.
If you could go back in time, Laura, and change something about the Disney Moms panel, would you? Is there some way that you think you could perhaps, if we had just done this, I think it would have been a better experience in the first couple of years. Because obviously, like you mentioned, you talked about, the website was being developed as you were being really groomed to take up the Moms panel to begin with. Is there something along those lines, maybe something that you wish something would have been changed a little bit?
I think what I would have changed is because I really do think that they didn't realize how successful it was going to be. So a lot of the infrastructure and things weren't put in place for the amazing amount of traffic that we get. So I think I would have said, y'all, this is going to blow up. So I think we were shocked that we were getting calls from media and, when we launched, we got the, front page of CNN.com. And so I think, I would have if I was working for Disney, I would have set up an infrastructure that really could handle, the amazing success. But I don't know if I'd change much else because I think, that first year was really so magical. And even the lumps and bumps on the way paved, the road for the next group. And I loved that we had no idea how big it was going to be. We were like deer caught in headlights, Yeah. And, I'll never forget the first time I saw this like negative thing in the blogosphere that somebody had said about me. And I literally cried. And,
I didn't mean it, Laura, I swear.
I know it was you. But I just thought, I think they handled it really well because they, let us know that they were experimenting and they invited us to the table to help watch it grow. So I wouldn't change much. Well, except for I always said we should have had a parade.
Oh yeah, parade.
I think I lost that too. It didn't really go over too well.
Yeah, and then now my new kick is I want us to have a window on Main Street.
In 40 years.
Yeah, so every time I get a chance, whenever they're talking about that, I'm like, Mom's panel.
What would that be? What name would that be?
It's got to be something involving pink, and evidently after this show, shoes.
So what's a typical day like for the average mom?
Gosh, you know what? I don't think anymore now with 40 plus we have a typical day because we have stay-at-home moms, working moms, single moms, as you guys mentioned, Bernie, the NASA, scientists, doctors, lawyers. I don't know if there is a typical day. They all approach it differently. I remember I used to work on the panel in the middle of the night. Some people will work in bursts. Like I would do all of my answers in one day. And so, you would just see my little brown face for page after page. So I can't say that there is a typical panelist. I think the only thing that we have in common is our love for Disney, which it eclipses everything. And you guys know the Disney community, you kind of like, you're not a Republican, you're not a Democrat, you're not, Catholic,
exactly.
You're not Jewish. You're Disney, and you all talk that language, and you're pretty, 99% of the time, everybody gets along.
Right. It's a great point, Laura. And, the Moms Panel has been a huge success. I don't think anyone could have predicted how much success it's been since it first began in 2008. And you really should. It's a credit to you and the rest of the moms and dads on the panel who do such a great job with it. And you should be really proud. And of course, you do great work on the blog, which Mike alluded to earlier. So we wish you all the best, Laura. We love seeing people working for Disney that get it. You know what I mean? Like people who it's not just a job to them. It means a lot more because you really invested so much of yourself in the brand before you even worked for Disney. So seeing you move up the ranks like this has been awesome, and we're totally, in your corner. We think it's great, and I hope nothing but the best for you with the rest of your dealings with the company. Thank
you guys so much. One thing I always carry with me is that even though I'm a cast member, I never, other than the customer service, I never think like a cast member. I always am that fan who is sitting behind the computer listening to you guys, on Wednesdays and Fridays, and who's reading Birnbaums on the weekend. And
what?
Uh-oh, I said a dirty word. I meant
You've lost me. You've lost me forever. No, you can't make it up.
I meant the unofficial guide to Walt Disney
You know what we're having on after you? We're having the Universal Moms panels on. They're fantastic.
Well, you know what? I have to tell you guys, I am so deeply indebted to you, and I owe you. My next child will be named Mike, Len, Matt, because we're in the guidebook and we're not in Birnbaums.
Who loves you, baby? Who loves you?
You guys love me. So I still am a Disney-file fan, and that's how I go into meetings, and that's how I kind of walk around. When I go to the Magic Kingdom, I smell the popcorn, and sometimes I get really teary. I'll see families coming in, and it chokes me up every time.
That's awesome.
Great. Well, Laura, thank you so much for your time, and of course you can check out Laura on the Disney Parks blog, and of course the Disney Moms panel, as we mentioned. Lots of great information on both, so definitely check those out. And that's going to do it for us today. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by All-Star Vacation Homes. And, there's no searching for finding a great place to stay on your next Disney World vacation. If you need a lot of space and you want a great place to stay in, why not stay at an All-Star Vacation Home? They're located really close to Walt Disney World. In fact, many of the homes you can see Expedition Everest from your house. That's how close you are. So come check them out online. Go to www.allstarvacationhomes.com right now. Check them out. And that'll do it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and Laura Spencer, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.